Hi guys, welcome to another Business Studies podcast. Now on today's podcast what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at section 3 of your IGCSE course, which is where we start looking at marketing. Now one of the first things that you need to know is what does the marketing department actually do? Now one of the things that the marketing department does is they're responsible for what we call the 4 Ps. Now, the 4 Ps are price, product, promotion, and place. Now, the key thing with the marketing department is that they're responsible for getting the right product at the right price, in the right place, with the right promotion. And this is what we call the marketing mix. Now, the marketing mix is basically making sure that all of these 4 Ps actually fit together to support the business and that are correct for the business's customers. And again, it's not just about making sure we have the right product, for example. We've got to make sure all of them are correct for the business's customers. So the right product at the right price with the right promotion in the right place. That is the marketing mix. Now, one of the other things that the marketing department is responsible for is making sure that the business responds and adapts to changes in the marketplace. Now, just remember what we mean by the market. It's basically all of the customers that we are aiming our particular product at. Now, we have changes with consumers. Consumers' taste change, fashion changes, for example, technology changes, incomes change, countries maybe get richer or maybe they get poorer. And also ages change within the population. So Qatar's got a very young population. Countries in Europe have an older population. Technology is a good example to think about when you're thinking about markets actually changing. Technology is changing all the time, as you know. So we have new iPhones being released twice a year with the iPhone 7, 7S, and so on. BlackBerry is a company that didn't watch what was happening in the market. They didn't adapt, they didn't change their business, they stayed the same. We had new technology being released with smartphones with touchscreens, and BlackBerry just kept their traditional buttons, and they got left behind. And now BlackBerry is basically finished. They don't make phones anymore. So it's really important that a business is always watching the market, is always doing market research, finding out what is happening, so that they can change their product, they can adapt their product depending on what is actually going on with their customers. If incomes are increasing, then you're probably going to want to make your product higher class and more expensive. If incomes are going down, maybe a bit cheaper to aim for the lower class people within that particular market. Okay, another thing that you need to be aware of as part of the marketing section is market segmentation. Now, again, if we have the whole market, this is every single customer of a particular type of product. Let's say mobile phones. Mobile phones are aimed at rich people, lower income people, boys, girls, kids, older people. It all depends on the type of phone that those people would buy. Well, what we can do is we can take the whole market, this is all of the customers, and we can segment, we can slice or divide up the market into groups of customers. This is the key with segmentation. Groups of customers, and those groups of customers, those segments contain that the customers have or share similar characteristics. For example, we could segment the market, clothes is another example. We could segment the market for clothes that would be aimed at children, clothes that would be aimed at boys, or clothes that would be aimed at girls. We also have clothes for high income people like Gucci, okay? So we can segment the market, divide the market, and the key thing here is those segments, the people we put in the segment, share certain characteristics. Okay, so as we've discussed, guys, so the ways that we can segment the market, we have age, gender, income, and we have other ones, interest, religion. The ones that I would focus on, the main ways that businesses segment the market is by age, gender, income, and I think religion's a good one as well, because you guys would definitely be able to give some good examples for religion. Now, age, again, certain products will be aimed at people of a certain age, so we can divide the market into groups of customers of certain age groups, gender, so we can just segment the market into groups of customers. So here guys, I just want you to be thinking about these cars. Now we have many different people who buy these cars, but these cars would be aimed or targeted towards different groups or different segments, different groups of customers. For example, this one here, the Rolls Royce, is going to be aimed towards people that are of a very high income, and I would usually say you would tend to find an older person driving a vehicle like this. Whereas this one here, this is the Porsche, again this would be aimed at somebody of a very high income, but I think this one would be driven by somebody who is much younger. Okay, so this segment or this car would be aimed at a different segment to what this car is aimed at. This one here is totally different to both of these because the income is going to be nowhere near as high. This one would probably be aimed more towards a girl or a female, younger age, and would have a good job, but like a professional, but certainly nowhere near as much money as somebody who drives this type of vehicle. So I hope we can see, guys, that cars, we have the whole market for cars. This is everybody who drives cars, but we can segment, we can slice the market down into certain vehicles that would be aimed at a particular segment. Now, when a business targets a segment, when they forget about the rest of the market, so when a business forgets about all these customers here and only targets a specific segment, then these are what we call niche marketing. So if you're a niche marketer, not only do you segment, but you identify a segment, you focus on that segment. So whoever your customers are, that's all you care about, that's all you focus on. You forget about everybody else. For example, we've got health food on here, or medical food. If you're a company that sells medical food such as gluten intolerant, if you're gluten intolerant, you can't eat wheat. So if you eat wheat and it upsets your stomach, then you're gluten intolerant. And there's businesses out there that sell special types of bread, special types of donuts, for example, for people who are gluten intolerant. And that would be their customers. They forget about everybody else. They're not interested in people that don't have this illness. They are only focusing on people with that particular medical condition, and that is their niche. That is their small segment there that they are targeting. Now, you do need to know the benefits and drawbacks of being a niche marketer or a niche marketing company. So I've got the benefits on here. If you're only targeting a small segment and you're not targeting everybody else in the market, you're only fixed on a small segment, there will be less competition. Why? Well, that's because there's less sales, there's less opportunities, there's less customers there, so there's less businesses that are interested in targeting that small segment. So you'll face less competition. There's fewer businesses out there that make bread for gluten intolerant people than there are that make bread for everybody else. Okay, so there's less competition there. It's cheaper to advertise. If you know who your customer is, you only advertise where your customers are. For example, if your product is aimed at rich people, where in Qatar would you advertise? Or maybe somewhere like the Pearl, where you find rich people. So your advertising is cheaper because you only advertise where your specific customers, where your niche customers are. If your product is aimed at children, then you just advertise on children's TV programs. Also, because you're only targeting a small segment, a small group of customers, you get to know those customers really well. If you're just focusing on people with a certain medical condition, you would understand that medical condition really well. You can provide them with the products and the service that they are looking for. You can really look after your customers. The drawbacks, because we're only targeting a small segment and we're not targeting everybody else, there are fewer sales, there's lower sales there. And we have a risk. Think back to the example with gluten. If you can't eat gluten products because it upsets your stomach, well, what happens if doctors created a new pill that you could take and that got rid of that illness? Well, then you would have no customers. Okay, so if your niche, your target customers change or move, yeah, then your business is no more because you're only targeting a small group of people. Mass marketing is the opposite of niche marketing. Niche marketing, you only targeted a small segment of the market. Well, if you're a mass marketing business, you're targeting everybody, absolutely everyone. Now, businesses that do this kind of thing are Coca-Cola or McDonald's. They do that as well. Ketchup. These are products that pretty much everybody uses at some point. I don't know anybody that's never drank a can of Coke. Okay, so these products are aimed at rich people, lower income people, boys, girls, young, old. This is a mass market product. It's aimed at absolutely everybody. We do not identify segments. Again, you need to know the benefits and drawbacks of being a mass marketing business. It is essentially the opposite of niche marketing. So I've pretty much just swapped these over. So for mass marketing, we now have high sales because we're aiming our product at everybody. Economies of scale is large businesses can produce each individual product for less. So the average costs are less. If you're watching this for the first time at year 10, guys, don't worry too much about economies of scale because you will cover this in year 11. But economies of scale, bigger businesses can make each individual product for cheaper. Another thing that large businesses can do, they can spread their risk. So they're aimed at many different customers. They're aimed at many different people. If one group of customers stops buying their product, let's say high income customers, they've still got low income, boys, girls, young, old, so it's less risky and there's much bigger opportunity for growth to sell lots and lots of products. The drawbacks, well, because we've got a large amount of opportunity for growth, a large amount of opportunity for sales, because there's a lot of money to be made, well, we've got a lot of competition. Lots and lots of businesses want a slice of this cake. They want a slice of this, the money that's available. So we have a lot of competition out there. Also, high advertising costs. Before we only advertised where our customers were. Well, now our customers, with the mass market, our customers are everybody. Because our customers are everybody, where do we have to advertise? Well, we have to advertise everywhere because we're trying to advertise to everybody. Very expensive. And also because our product is aimed at everybody, we can't possibly understand all of our customers. We can't meet everybody's needs. Our product is the same and it's aimed at everyone. So we can't provide as good customer service or a product to meet every individual customer's needs. Okay, the last thing you need to know about, guys, in this particular section is about marketing budgets. Now, you should know by now that a budget is just, we all have to budget. We're given an amount of money, like this. We're given an amount of money, like a piggy bank. You're allowed to spend this much, and you're not allowed to spend more. Now, with a marketing budget, not only are we giving an amount of money, but you need to also say, who is this money for? Well, it's for the marketing department. So what can they spend this money on? Well, it's the allocation of money, it's the amount of money they have available to spend on things like TV, radio, advertising, doing market research, so all of the things that the marketing department does. Okay, that's this section finished, guys. I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you next time.